We are counting down to camp. Broncos hit the field this Thursday, and today we are talking about the wide receiver group. Hello, and thank you for joining us here in the Broncos Media Center. I'm Phil Milani, alongside Andrew Mason and Steve Atwater. Guys, what do you think about this group, especially if Emmanuel Sanders isn't ready for the start of camp, ready for the start of season? How do we feel about this core?
There's a lot to prove for these young receivers. And I think there are a lot of question marks, justifiably so. We saw what life looked like for the Broncos without Emmanuel Sanders in those last 4 games of the 2018 regular season, and it wasn't good. You know, Courtland Sutton, asked to be the number 1 receiver, struggled at times. Deshawn Hamilton, Tim Patrick, they made some plays, but the offense, in terms of its vertical threat, it really ground to a halt without Emmanuel Sanders. So you're counting on another offseason of work helping Tim Patrick, Courtland Sutton, and Deshawn Hamilton, counting on them making the leap, because oftentimes for receivers, guys, that leap comes from year 1 to year 2. They're rarely a finished product in year 1. I'm excited about their possibilities, but right now, there are still questions that have to be answered.
Well, over the offseason, we heard Courtland Sutton say, hey, I'm ready to be wide receiver number 1. You agree with him, Steve?
You know what? I think if for some reason Emmanuel isn't ready to go, I think he will definitely be the wide receiver 1, whether he's ready or not. But I do think he will be ready for it. Just seeing his work ethic, his passion for the game of football leads me to believe that he'll put the work in. Now, I believe he has the talent to do it, so I'm really anxious to see what these guys can look like in a brand new system that's proven with other guys that they can put points on the board. So I'm looking forward to that, but I think he's up for the task.
What's it going to take for Deshawn Hamilton? We heard so much hype about him coming in his rookie season. Didn't really get a catch until midway through the year. Then he had a lot of targets after Emmanuel Sanders went down. What's it going to take for him to make that jump?
I think just simply getting more reps, getting more involved with the offense, and building timing with Joe Flacco, that's going to be a key thing. With Deshawn Hamilton, he showed some signs late in the 2018 regular season that he could be that underneath safety valve type of threat. You want him to improve that yardage per catch a little bit, but we know he's a good route runner. He knows how to get open underneath and exploit gaps in coverage. You want to see him do that more consistently. There's a lot of people who believe in Deshawn Hamilton. One of the projections out there from ESPN's Mike Clay actually has Deshawn Hamilton projected to lead the Broncos in receptions. Would not surprise me if that's the case.
Of course, we know that this offensive system likes to use the tight end. Probably a big reason why they use their first pick on a guy like Noah Fant.
Yeah, no, I agree. And I'm looking forward to Noah Fant coming in, doing great things. Will it be that way right from the start? I don't know. I mean, a lot depends on if he's able to pick up the offense right away and, how many of the concepts kind of can transfer from the college game. But there are also some other tight ends. We still have Jeff Hartman on the roster. He's going to be a factor. Troy Fumagalli, rookie from last year, I believe he's going to be a factor. So it won't be as much pressure on him to have to come out and be a superstar right from the start. He'll be able to come along at a good pace. And I think when it's all said and done, though, that tight end room is going to be one of our strong points.
And we know how Joe Flacco loves the tight ends. Going back for his entire time in Baltimore, made extensive use of them. And go back to last year when he had Mark Andrews out of Oklahoma, then a rookie, got him involved right away. You probably remember that Broncos-Ravens game in Week 3, Mark Andrews making plays at the Broncos' expense. So if Noah Fant gets good timing with Joe Flacco right away, those early games could look a lot like Mark Andrews did last year in Baltimore.
So Flacco should have some available weapons to him. Let's talk about Emmanuel Sanders, though, before we go here. What do we think? Do you think he's going to be ready? What's a likely outcome for his return back to the field?
Well, he's certainly targeting Week 1. The progress has been outstanding, but you don't want to rush him back coming off that Achilles. If you do kind of ease him back, sometimes you have to save the player from himself a little bit. Make sure that he takes the steps in a judicious way. And if you have to play with him being limited early on in the season, if you have to watch his reps, so be it. The goal is to make sure that Emmanuel Sanders is healthy, available, and back to full speed, because the Broncos need that vertical speed that he provides. If he's not there to provide that, it's Brennan Langley if he can develop, and a lot of question marks when it comes to being that vertical speed downfield guy.
What do you think, Steve? You think Sanders is there first game?
Well, you know what? I hope so. And if it's just based off of his work ethic, his commitment to being back, he will be back. For me, from my point of view, I don't want to take any chances, though, if there are any question marks that he can't take a hit or that he can't come down or plant the way that he normally plants. Let's just make sure we get to that point, and I don't mind him waiting for 4 to 6 weeks to be able to be on the field to make sure that he's there, especially at the end of the season.
Well, we know it's going to be hard for him to watch on Thursday, but at least the younger guys, they'll get some valuable reps with Joe Flacco when the Broncos start training camp just a few days from now. All right, that's going to do it for us. For Steve Atwater, Andrew Mason, I'm Phil Milani.